Why is shame such a powerful emotion? How does it affect us mentally, physically, emotionally? I'm Nadia Davis. I'm a mom, author, attorney, and Kundalini yoga teacher who has experienced public shaming that brought me to my knees. On this podcast, I'm going to tell you how I'm living the work taking shame out of the shadows. I'll give you real-life advice and skills to take away with you throughout your day. You'll hear from powerful guests who have overcome trauma and emerged stronger than ever. You too can ban the shame within and around you. Join me. You are not alone. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Home is Within You and part 2 of a very interesting discussion. And this is about how self-acceptance, working on that, working really hard,
Mm-hmm.
leads us to having healthy emotional boundaries and the ability to see the signs of an unhealthy relationship before you get in a relationship, during dating, and or what could be a healthy one.
Correct.
Now, I did a whole podcast on
Mm-hmm.
how a relationship with the soul is so needed to build an authentic relationship, and it relates to the spiritual part of this. Now
Which is, it's all
today,
related. Yeah, it's all related. The spiritual and the psychological. I'm sorry, I jumped in.
no, you're right. Say more.
They're the same. It's the same coin, different sides. Having self-acceptance is your spiritual self. How that translates into is staying on your side of the tennis court in the relationship, staying on your side. Someone, we'll get into
Bam.
some of the major red flags about what happens when we don't read the red flags and we don't listen to our boundaries, which is our intuition, where that can take
And
us,
it becomes like a self-sacrifice. That
which doesn't
unhealthy
work.
pattern of mine. Okay.
Hmm.
It's like this core belief
Hmm.
of sacrificing. And when there's fear instincts,
Okay, before we get that far, because that's part of
yeah,
the red
let's get
flags.
into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So our goal right now is,
Yes.
uh, I've never done this side. This is interesting because I'm always coaching men on codependence, which is emotional cancer for all relationships. And now I'm taking the perspective with you, talking to a woman, coaching her on how to have boundaries and read the red flags of an unfit partner, unfit guy, or whoever your partner is.
Got it.
And there's so much out there right now about narcissistic abuse and narcissism and narcissistic guys. And there's some uh, female psychologists out there that are just awesome. They're excellent people. And I've learned a lot from them. I have a lot of women in my practice, but usually we talk more about how they can manage their sons, not so much, you know, this side of it pre getting into it. And there's red flags and there's green flags. And I've had many a person sit uh, and tell me all these red flags, and they went ahead with anyway. And it gets down to the need to be needed. And that's seductive for women because nurturing, being a good
Wow.
mother, is being needed, is reading your
Right.
child. Yeah. And that's so seductive. But with a 48-year-old man, I tell him, you don't need to nurture him like he's 8. That's where it becomes like the man-child
So
syndrome. So with
so
that
it's
jumping
the
in,
need within to
hmm
we're gonna hold myself accountable
yes,
to this need
yeah,
to be needed, not allowing myself to break
great.
emotional boundaries.
So a
Okay.
good relationship, one thing is one of the difference between a good relationship, a red flag relationship, and a green flag isn't that there's problems, but in the red flag, you're blamed for all the problems.
Oh my god.
Okay? In the green flag side of it, there's acceptance on both parties. and you can resolve it. You are blamed for all the problems, conflict. That's honestly not, that's a fork in the road. Once we go down that road, we are in hell, and it's just going to get
Yep.
hotter. It's not cooling off, it's going to get hotter. Sorry,
Oh
I can
my
only see that
gosh.
first person. Been there, and all of you listeners, God, I wish you the best in turning the car around, getting off that road. But when you're in a conflict, you're dating. It could be date one, and the food comes late, and he berates the server. I would look at you and
Oh
just
my
go, I would take that as a sign. Run, pay for the dinner, and run.
God.
Don't even worry. Don't worry about it. You just whatever money you spent was well spent. When a man berates a server on a date, I always look at the one like, "You're next." Okay, okay, that was
Get up.
just a
Okay.
precursor for what's coming for you.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Okay, then here's another example. Green flag.
M My
Server's
lips are
late.
closed. I'm just, like,
You're like, "Oh my god."
blown away that you're getting to this. Okay.
Okay, so the other here's a green flag. The server, you're on a date and the food's cold, and your date goes, I'm really sorry, but can you do? I know you're really busy, and they're very kind, and they talk to the person. They're not demeaning, and you both kind of like, let's go somewhere else, okay? But it's very equitable. No name call.
Equitable is a great way.
Yeah, kind. I mean, someone's a server's working their butt off, and they're got 10 tables. It's Friday night, and you know, and, and you're on a date, and your partner is kind. That's a green flag.
You know what's going through my mind as you're
Tell me.
saying all of this? A really, really good person at interpersonal fraud would memorize all of this and would use these tactics to fool someone
Nadia.
and how get to the deeper signs.
Okay, okay. All this, what you just talk about is fraud. You can smell it when it's not real. You can smell it because when it's not real, it's all going to come back to them being great. Love bombing is a red flag. I mean, when it's over the top, you know, 600 roses on your second date or something. I mean, it's extreme, but stuff happens. That's love bombing. Red flag with neon lights flashing. Okay, we're not talking about sociopaths. Okay, let's back up from that. All right, because that's 3%. The other 95% or so, there's red flags and green flags. A green flag when you're dating someone and as a woman having emotional boundaries is someone's able to take responsibility for their actions
Right.
and ask, what's my responsibility in this? A man who can take responsibility is generally a good guy. You're going to be okay. I'm sorry I was late. I didn't call you. I'll make sure I'll try not to do that in the future. That's workable. That's workable, you know? Or I didn't know that was important. Let's see what we can do about it. Because that tells you he's safe. He's taking responsibility.
Another sign was
Hmm.
direct green is direct questions about a scenario, about something um,
Hmm.
that happened. Like, why did you call? What was it about? And tell me more about your feelings versus in tricky, indirect questions over a long period of
Hmm.
time that confused me, that it confused me, that confused the partner, that that are just so, like, bizarre. That's a red flag. Like,
Absolutely. Do you know what's interesting? What getting grilled about your past relationships, another red flag.
okay.
Getting grilled. Now there's information. You're a lawyer. There's different levels of being having a discussion. But when you're getting grilled. Well, how many times did you sleep with guys? Not at. Doesn't matter. Immaterial. Has nothing to do with today. All right. And I tell women one thing I have found to be, I don't like 100%, but 99% accurate is when a guy tells his date he has a crazy ex-wife or a crazy ex-girlfriend,
Right.
because 50% of that
Bam.
exactly is him. I have never, okay, rarely have I found that not
So
to be true.
disrespectful.
I'm telling you, when a guy
Really?
talks about his crazy ex, whatever level that is, I have never found that not to be true. That he's 50% of the crazy. He's 50% of it. It takes two to play. This thing about taking responsibility. Another piece it's important is when a narcissist can't do is have the ability to forgive,
Interesting.
not punish you,
Yes,
forgive. Let's say we said something that
that's
was
so good.
punishment is the red flag, forgiveness is the green flag.
Oh, that gave me chills.
Punishment is the red flag. You can be punished from A to Z, Nadia, and there are women listening to this. I listen to this. If he's punishing you, dating him, it's not worth companionship. That's not companionship. That's
Right.
putting you in a straitjacket.
And why did I accept?
We're gonna
It's
get
that
to
whole thing.
that. Okay, Nadia, we're gonna get
Yeah,
there, all
it's
right?
just mind-blowing, name calling. I mean, okay,
Okay,
we're getting there.
we're getting there, okay? Hang with me. Mutual respect has ground rules.
Okay.
Mutual respect has ground rules.
This is a green flag.
This is a major green flag. This is like
Okay.
the 405 with no traffic on it. You know, this is
Okay.
go.
Okay.
Rarely happens, but when you get it, you go. Mutual
Yes.
respect. It's like we don't argue about the past. We don't name call. We talk about one issue at a time, and we can go to bed mad. And we don't have serious discussions after we, maybe some couples are drinking or whatnot, and we keep things in private. But there's a mutual understanding of how we handle disagreements.
Right. And it's between us, 2
Only,
people
not
only.
only, no triangles. The only triangles with your therapist. Okay, that's
Oh
different.
my god, triangulation is so painful. Okay.
That's
Okay.
okay. That's huge.
No
Uh,
go. Okay.
the next one is kindness is the ability to feel. I didn't use empathy. I said kindness.
Now, by the way, I need to point something out.
Hmm.
These red flags all use shame and shaming. Tactics.
You know something?
Tactic.
I agree with you, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go a little further
Okay.
because it is all blaming. Shame, blaming is paralyzing. Uh, Not showing up for you emotionally or physically, or doing this hit and miss, like they ghost you for 5 days. Okay, that's
Okay.
a that's you know that's just rude. Okay, let's just call it out. That's just
And
rude,
juvenile and childish
immature.
a and a power play. Okay.
Do you know, another thing is with the red flags? Okay, let me finish. Let me just go finish the green side. Kindness
Okay.
is the ability to feel what you're feeling and identify and be supportive of it.
Oh my gosh.
Kindness. You can't now. Kindness doesn't mean the guy's sappy and syrupy, but like you're having a bad day with your kids and goes, "I'm sorry," and here's you out. Doesn't correct you, doesn't shame you, or doesn't. Well, if you didn't do this, this wouldn't happen. You know. Or if you're getting really upset, maybe you gotta take a time out here and go for a walk. Kindness is the ability
Mhm.
to read the situation for your benefit. For your
Okay.
benefit. And my other point is direct communication. Direct communication is
Direct. I love that.
direct. Okay. It may be,
Without it, it's all games.
oh, we're going nowhere. The car,
Right.
you forget about the car. You don't even have the car keys. Without direct communication, this car can't even start.
I ignored all this.
Okay, Nadia, you've learned.
Lack of it. Yeah. Okay.
Nadia, okay,
Lack of direct communication.
because direct
Okay.
communication keeps you too emotionally attached.
Mhm.
Sexual, emotional, physical, relational, career, finances, vacations, direct communication works.
But see, I didn't know the tactics were so tricky. I thought they were being direct. So,
Nadia,
this is very interesting. I think the red flags are gonna be more helpful.
okay, one, when they when you first meet, they berate their ex.
Yes.
I don't care what's going on, they're part of the problem. Number two, they blame people.
Oh
You
my
don't hear the
gosh.
you don't hear the word I. I did this and I upset my kids versus they're spoiled, they're this or that. There's no personal acknowledgement for your role in it. No
Bam.
responsibility. Number three, they no show you emotionally. Intermittent attachment, intermittent, unpredictable, major red flag. And
Okay.
this has nothing to do with trauma. This has to do with control.
Yes.
Okay? Uh, Blame is control. Crazy, blaming the other person. It's all about control. And another red flag, major red flag, is they tell you that you're not doing enough.
Oh my gosh.
And when you're
What
not
happened?
doing enough, how versus I'm responsible for getting lunch today, okay? It's not my wife's problem. I'm a big, you know what I mean? If I didn't get coffee or
Yeah.
something, like if I didn't go for a run today, that's not her fault.
Mhm.
That's me. It sounds weird. I hate that word. It sounds really, it is weird. Blaming somebody for stuff, but you're not pleasing them. And another piece, this is number five, is the man child syndrome. Like they want you to mother them, and then they flip it on you, and
Oh,
then they
interesting.
really berate you for it.
Okay.
I know there's miles of stuff, but recognizing, I tell my female clients, the women, women divorce or dating again, if a guy's blaming, it doesn't take responsibility for stuff. I don't care how great he is, you got a problem because that blame goes a lot further than the surface.
That was the biggest red flag
Yep, blame.
a couple times, and that was the biggest red flag.
Now,
And so,
hmm
okay,
so
blame is internalized shame projected. And, another one that relates to that is
hmm
is playing the victim or like the pity,
oh, Nadia, that's
constant.
that's not taking responsibility.
Now that's, what I was accused of doing, even though I
hmm
owned up, and it challenged me. Okay, what else do I need to own up to? What is my part in getting in this? You see, it's a constant growth, constant self-analyzation. Con- Not constant. I mean, come on, life is good. But you know what
Yeah,
I
but no, I
mean.
get it.
When this
But
issue comes up in my head, it's like, okay, let me learn more
Nadia,
versus
relationships are like we were saying. Jonathan Gutman, the guru, who I really respect, he's 88, I believe, 85. He's been doing this
Mhm.
for 60 years, and he says good couples talk through difficult issues.
Yes.
Operative word, talk
Talk.
through, not blame through.
Amen.
Okay,
Yes.
and see, and
Woo!
that's his fork in the road. If you have a partner who takes no responsibility, blames you, it's all your fault. That relationship's over. And he talks about the four negative horsemen. I talk about the four positive in my book, Modern Masculinity. But one of them is gaslighting. They blame
Totally.
you for their bad behavior. I know it gets used a lot, but
And it
can I tell you something? Is as old as hills.
yeah.
It's a great defense mechanism if you're a defense attorney, but not in a personal relationship. Okay,
Right.
it's not good in personal relationships. Blaming them for your actions,
And,
stonewalling is another one.
right.
The silent treatment.
And,
Hmm.
yes. I'm yes.
Yeah, and number
Yes.
three is everything that's happening. It's your fault. If you did this right, this wouldn't happen. If you did this wouldn't happen. Why do you do this? I can't trust you. You're not reliable. When do they become God?
So now this is these are signs in dating, but if this is happening in a relationship,
It was
I'm
happening in dating
sorry.
too. Nadia, it's been happening
It was
since.
happening in dating.
Yeah,
Yes.
I. This is all preventative medicine.
And it's my fault I ignored. It's it's it's
Yeah,
it's my fault I ignored. And
I did it too. And you learn once you get filleted, you're like, okay, what did I not read? Because intuitively we know, deep down we know the answer.
we did.
But if we think we can change them or we can
That
mitigate,
that was it. That was it.
it doesn't work. In the history of man, it doesn't work. You only change when you want to.
The ego was like my soul,
Hmm.
he's wants the spiritual connection, and that was my own, like, oh, I can be the example of this. That was
Correct.
all the need, and yes,
Nadia, I don't want to oversimplify this for our
onwards.
listeners. All these signs are there when we're dating.
Yes,
Every one of them. We just, maybe we chose not to recognize them, but on some level we know.
we do know, and ladies,
Hmm.
this is where, again, having a home within, having that relationship with your soul, with your little girl, that separate
Hmm.
space, if you sit and breathe, the instincts are right there, and you will know. You will know right away whether
Hmm.
this is a red flag or a green flag situation and how to proceed it. And it's there. It is. Our intuition is spot on.
Correct. It is. And this is where shame has us second guess our instincts. Because shame says we're not smart enough, we don't know enough, and we give our power away. That's one of the insidious
Now,
natures of
all of
shame.
this applies to men.
Oh,
This is,
absolutely.
if
Can I
a
tell you?
woman do this,
Oh,
if,
women.
yes,
I just talking from. I'm talking to women about what to read. Guys do this.
yes,
It's gender neutral. It's gender.
it's gender
They're
neutral.
neutral. It really is. Has nothing to do with any of the other stuff. It it's people.
Okay, yes, it is. And so
It's just people.
shame's role in creating these.
Yep. These distortions, and it gets us to self doubt ourselves on what we know to be true. And I advise men that it's no different. The dynamics are same for red flags with a woman as they are red flags with a man.
And
They're
so
red flags.
how then, when there's red flags, the emotional boundaries. Okay. So red flag comes up where
Yeah.
you just walk out and leave at the restaurant if that's the situation. I'm just kidding.
I think sometimes
But
our
but
non-negotiables.
how do you know that fine line? Okay, there you go.
I think
Non-negotiables.
I think people err on the naive side more often than on the critical side.
That's me.
There it is. Okay, because naive is that we don't believe our first go. Now I'm not saying, but within a date or two if this is something we should be involved in or not. And if you're not sure, take your time. There's no hurry. There's no hurry. You know, relationships take time to evolve. There's no
Take your
hurry.
time. Take your
And
time and observe
I think people ask,
and check in with yourself.
check in with
Yes.
yourself, and it gets back to are they being do they take responsibility or do they blame? Start there.
Okay.
You get a lot of information from that question. A lot of information in answering that question.
Beautiful.
All right. So
Okay,
that's
that
our
was
goal.
quick
Reading the
tips,
flags.
quick tips. I know them now completely. I knew them then, but it was the choice in ignoring them. Ladies,
Yep.
men, it's about not ignoring them and tuning in to our
Yep.
true self and intuition within,
Hmm.
taking it slower or just walking away.
Correct. And
Thank you, doctor.
another time we'll talk about why we don't listen to them. Why we don't
It's
listen.
that need. Yes, it's that
Yeah.
core wound.
It gets back. Yeah. It's very deep. Thank you, Nadia, as
Yes.
always.
Thank you. You are not alone. If you are dealing with shame and trauma, please reach out to me through my website, nadia-davis.com. You can get a free band shame tip sheet and find out about upcoming events. I'd love it if you picked up my book, Home is Within You, wherever books are sold. If you like this podcast, please tell a friend, leave a review, and make sure to follow me on Apple, Google, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Sending warm hugs.